So I was lucky enough to get my hands on one of the most awaited HomeKit products this year, which is the Vocolinc MistFlow. In this video, I'm going to deep dive into this product and help you understand whether you might want to add it to your smart home. Hey guys, Chris Young here from HomeKit Geek. Today we are looking at the Vocolinc MistFlow. So this is a HomeKit humidifier and only the second HomeKit humidifier on the market right now that is natively HomeKit. The first, of course, being its baby brother, the Vocolinc Flowerbud, which I will put a review to up here somewhere. So the Vocolinc MistFlow is a humidifier. It's a lamp. It is definitely Vocolinc style. And honestly, I'm a big fan of this already. I have added 4 of these to my house. This is not a sponsored post. I have spent my money on these, and I think that's important that you guys know, again, where review units are and where it's my hard-earned cash and what I've chosen to spend money on. So first, let's look at the tail of the tape. The Vocolinc humidifier is a humidifier. It is a 2.5 liter capacity, meaning that you can put 2.5 liters of water on here, which means that you can get a significant amount of runtime. In fact, they say that you can get it to run up to 30 hours. Now, that is definitely not going to be at full blast, but yeah, this is going to definitely allow you to run overnight. This is a 5-speed device, of which 2 are available through the physical button. So if you go into your app, your Amazon, Madam A, Google, HomeKit, all of those are supported. You can get all 5 speeds, but if you're using the physical button on the device, you've got 2 speeds, low and high, which is just about perfect. There is also a lamp in this. The lamp is something that I wanted to point out here, that this is a really interesting accent light. This isn't going to be like a reading light. It's not that bright. And as well, the position of the LEDs, as you can see here, is kind of interesting. They've got these 6 LEDs buried in the bottom of the device that's coming up from below, which when you combine this with the fog, the misting that's happening, as well as the general plastic, the opaqueness of the device itself, gives you a really cool effect. I'm not sure if you can see it here in the video, but there's times where I glance over and it's almost reminiscent of a lava lamp, which is kind of a cool effect if you're looking for a night light for your kids, for instance. This is a Wi-Fi device connecting to your 2.4 gigahertz, so this is up to 11N, which quite frankly, it's not doing video anyways. It's minimal traffic, so even that is overkill. But it is going to have to connect to your 2.4 gigahertz, which is kind of standard within most of the IoT devices that we're seeing nowadays. So according to the Vocolinc website, this device should cover you for about 323 square feet, or about 30 square meters, which is a decent sized room, right? You might want to put these in multiple bedrooms. If you have an old leakier house like mine, where some of the draftiness that tends to happen can leak water and humidity out of your air, you might want to put these in multiple rooms, which is exactly what I have been doing. So let's get into the details first and talk about the sound. So in my use case, I'm putting these in my bedroom, and one of the things that we definitely need to look at is how loud is this? This is one of the most common questions I get when I have a device that I'm putting in a bedroom, which is how loud are these sounds? In this particular one, 36 dB is what it's rated for. So what does that actually mean? So let's talk about sound levels here. If you look at the recommendations on the internet, you're looking at about 30 dB for a sleeping space. That's where you want your level so to not disturb you, right? Breathing is about 10 dB, sleeping space 30, talking 60 dB, traffic 70. You can go all the way up to a helicopter, which is about 100 dB, right? Again, all these different sounds. So the 36 dB is a little bit louder than what you would want for your sleeping space. But in my case, I have a white noise machine coming off of my Apple HomePod, and I'm using their ambient sounds. And quite frankly, I have that going at about 50 dB. I don't hear a thing. There is nothing here. It is absolutely canceled out. I wouldn't even know it's going, to be honest, when I'm sleeping. And that really takes out as well a lot of the other creaky sounds in the house. So from a sound standpoint, absolutely meets my requirements. So next, let's talk about one of the other great things about this device, which is the power. So I have been using, of course, some warm mist humidifiers throughout my house, and they are kind of a power suck. As I put in an earlier video, one of my goals for this year is to really get my power consumption down. And part of that is to looking at my power hogs, my electricity suckers, and see if I can eliminate those and how I can kind of balance out what I want from my air quality and see if I can get power down. So in this case, I was absolutely astonished here, the difference. This is an ultrasonic humidifier, so it's going to use kind of a vibration to mistify the water, if you will. And compared to a warm mist where it's actually raising the temperature of the water to the point where it comes off as steam, I am looking at a 90% difference in the power draw. So looking at my my sense energy, I'm able to actually look at the exact energy draw here. And you can see my warm mist, 246, 250 watts is what I'm using when that thing is turned on. Definitely not something I want to leave on the entire time. Whereas if I look at the MistFlow, huge difference here on when it's turned off. So even, the vampire draw, single watt. I turn the light on 100%, another watt. So we're now up to 2 watts. And if I add on the mist at full blast, I can get this thing pushing up to about 27, somewhere between 25, 27 watts. So from a power draw standpoint, this is an amazing little device. It's blowing off a huge amount of mist here that you can see in the video, right? It's actually adding a ton of humidity into the air, which, quite frankly, in my neck of the woods, things this time of year get super dry because they get super cold. I have central heating, and the combination of central heating with the cold weather means that I'm constantly drying out the air as I circulate it throughout my house. So I've got to try to find a balance between keeping everybody warm and not drying the air out too much. I'm aiming for that Goldilocks zone, somewhere between 45 to 55 relative humidity percentage. And this is something that's definitely helping me do that. So let's talk about the last thing here, which is how this is affecting the air quality, because I think this is super important to point out as well. Because this is a ultrasonic and it's misting the water, the recommendation is absolutely to use distilled water. So water that is already have any hard water impurities removed out of it. If you don't do that, what you can see is you will start to add any of those impurities will be misted and then thrown into the air as well. So I've got just kind of a picture here of some of the air quality sensors I've got in my office. As you can see, the PM2.5, the particulate matter that gets spewed into the air, can get fairly high, which isn't the greatest thing for our lungs. So if you are not going to be using distilled water with this particular humidifier, I absolutely encourage you to make sure that you've got a fairly good purifier, something like the Vocolinc MistFlow, for instance, which I'll put a link to up here. And make sure that you're pulling out and cleaning the air as you go through. So you've got this constant balance. This is a balance game we play at this time of year in northern countries. It's cold outside. I raise the temperature in my central heating to be able to get the heat up so people don't freeze. I'm raising the heat, which is just drying out the air. So now people are dry and you get something called winter itch, where your skin actually physically gets itchy. Not fun for anybody. So you add the humidifier, but now you're going to have PM2.5 in the air, so you have to add a purifier, right? This is an ongoing thing, and this is the balance we all go through in all parts of our lives. So nothing new here, but definitely something you should be aware of. So you could use distilled water in this full time, but quite frankly, I think that's unrealistic considering how much of this going through. I'm filling this up every 24 hours. So in my case, I'm not buying distilled water. I'm going to use tap water and have the purifiers that I've already added in these rooms anyways. So one of the last things that I'm going to add in here, just to make sure you guys are aware of this, is this you can use with essential oils as well as kind of a distiller to get that good smelling oil up into your air if you so choose. Quite frankly, I've got a sensitive nose, so I have not used that piece, but I am sure it works great just like it did in the Flowerbud. Not something I'm personally interested in using, but hey, you do you. So that brings us to the informational part. So let's get into the final thoughts. What I love about this device, I love the look of it. I love that it kind of resembles a lava lamp. I love that I can put them out, and the price, I picked these up for around $60 Canadian. I think that's about the average price is between $60 and $70. So you do some conversion on that. Amazing, right? The lava lamp effect is really cool. The fact that these are affordable enough to put them in any of my rooms. The fact that I can run it from Google Home, from Amazon, Madam A, from HomeKit. I've got cross ecosystem support, which is awesome. In general, I'm a fan of the device. One other thing I love about this device is the fact that this is the Vocolinc style of HomeKit support, which means that unlike a lot of other manufacturers, they actually expose things like the dynamic scenes as custom characteristics within HomeKit. So although you cannot access these in the native Home app, if you're using something like Home Plus 4, 5, whatever they're at now, Controller Pro, using the Eve app, using the Vocolinc app, any of those, you will be able to use a HomeKit scene to turn these on into that breathe or dynamically shift through different colors, which is kind of awesome, right? This is an important thing that I think Vocolinc, beyond any other HomeKit manufacturer right now, has done a great job of making sure that their dynamic scenes are available outside of their app. So for those of you who haven't seen the new app, they've done a really good job of that as well. Again, they've done some details here. I enjoy the fact that I don't have to use it, that I can do native HomeKit scenes or I can create these scenes within HomeKit and then access them in any app, or just set it from a scene through any other triggered automation, which is kind of awesome. What I don't love about this device, number one, the thing that I don't love about this device, they're super hard to find right now. Good news for Vocolinc, these things went out off the shelves like crazy, which is, you know, to be expected this time of year, especially in Canadian and northern households when it gets cold and it gets dry. So anything that I can do to add more moisture to the air is a good thing. The other thing that I'm not a huge fan of here is the fact that it is a cool mist. But again, that's that balance thing that we're trying to deal with, right? So I have to give up the air quality to some extent, or at least find a balance for it to get that humidity and the lower power consumption. So this is all a balance. So if I've missed anything, I've got any questions that you guys would have, if you want me to dive in more into any details, do me a favor, post those in the comments below, and I'd be happy to get back to you as quickly as I can. Like, shares, always appreciated. If you made it this far and you haven't subscribed already, ring that bell to be notified when new videos are added. And right about now, YouTube should be putting here or here a video that they think you might be interested in checking out next. See you soon.